Hi, welcome to Team Talk, a PESTA podcast series where we talk about everything physical education. I'm Nasrun, master teacher from PESTA. With me, I have two esteemed colleagues, so I will let them introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Eric. I'm the Deputy Director for PESTA.
Hello, I'm Francis, Senior Academy Officer from PESTA.
Welcome, guys. And this time around, the PESTA podcast series will have a slightly different angle to it. We are not going to talk about teaching per se, but we're going to talk about personal leadership. So here we have in total, I think almost 100 years plus of experience, right? I believe. And I think there are many of aspects of our personal leadership, our journey as teachers, as leaders. Eric here was a school leader. Francis has been a teacher leader for some time. And for myself, I was a head of department before I switched track to become a teacher leader as well. So let's begin our conversation. Perhaps we can start with our personal journeys. Why teaching, Francis? What made you come into teaching?
Yeah. I was an engineer before, so I think I'm a slow learner, but thankfully I have support from schools, so I did not do so badly in schools. I have good teachers who taught me well, and there are many things like sports where I want to do well, but unfortunately I couldn't do as well as I want to. There are some sports that so over the years, sometimes I have different experiences of good coaches, good teachers, and then I start to see, actually teachers makes a big difference to a student. So when I was bored with engineering, and then when I saw my friends becoming a teacher, I was thinking, why not I also join them? And I think that was the best choice ever, because now I realize there's a lot of students in Singapore that was like me, that really want to do well, to learn some sports or be good in something, but they just don't know how. So they need that support from teachers.
Okay, yeah, thank you. How long have you been in teaching?
I'm a teacher for 17 years.
17 years already. All right, thank you so much for that journey. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Many of us have that sort of background, that we can connect with. Not all of us are born sportsmen, right? Yeah, but yeah, something that we love, and then we pursue it with whatever opportunity that we have, Yeah, Eric.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm also a mid-career, very much like Francis. After I graduated, I worked 4 years in the private sector before joining NIE and then MOE. What drove me to teach was really my passion for sports. I've always played sports since young, and I enjoy playing sports. And the other love for children, when you put two together, teaching is the best job for me. And of course, we are really in a very privileged position to be able to make a difference in our students' life, and now at a different capacity also make a difference in our teachers' life. Yeah.
How long have you been teaching?
Also, I've been teaching in MOE for about 23 years.
23 years, yes. Wow, all right, yeah. I think for myself, similarly, similar journey. I love sports since I was young. In primary school, I was sent for cross-country competition, football, sepak takraw, softball,
Wow.
So my sports exposure was very vast and diverse. And the teachers who made a difference there really inspired me to take up sports as a career. But I didn't, like you, I was an engineer to be. I went to Poly in electronics engineering, believe it or not. But then I found that I'm not the type who can work in a manufacturing industry for 12 hours a day and all that. So I looked around my family members, siblings, my aunts and some uncles were also teachers as well. And I tried to resist it until I cannot anymore. Okay, and then finally I gave up in a way, and then I took up teaching. Plus I was too short to become a policeman. So that's another matter. And have not turned back since. And I think 25 years in the service, we have all seen many ups and downs. Perhaps now we can go into that topic of personal leadership. What is it that keeps you guys going? Definitely were there times where we felt that throwing in the towel, or we felt that this is not for us anymore, and of course there are joys, right? Yeah. So what is it that keeps us going? Who are the ones who did so? And what are some stories that we have to share with the audience? Yeah.
So maybe I'll start first. I brought along this plant here. It is one of my favorite plant. So this is called China doll. Yeah, because it is a native plant from the subcontinent of southern China and Taiwan. Therefore, it's called China doll. So I'll just leave this here first because it's quite heavy. So the story about this plant is I was just walking past a dumpster right near my house, and I saw this plant. It was dumped at one corner. Of course, it wasn't so beautiful. It was a bit yellowish, and when I walked nearer, I could see white spots on it. So being a plant lover, I couldn't see it being discarded, right? So I brought it home, and I was trying to clean off with cotton bud, trim off the yellow leaves. And I remember my late mother, she was saying, "Hey, son, why do you bring such a junk back home, And then I was saying that, Mom, this is a living thing, maybe I can save it. So she said, okay, you try. So that's what I did. After taking care of it, water, change the soil, I left it for 2 weeks, and guess what? Yeah, it got worse. Yeah, so I was at the verge of throwing it away, and then came the stereo. My wife came and said, "Hey, the thing looks so down and almost out. So why don't you throw?" I said, "Well, I'll try to call a friend for help." So I called this friend who has a green finger. So she came over, and then she looked at it and said, "Oh, okay, this is what you need to do. Mix, soap solution with baking soda, spray on it." And then she gave me this little worm liquid, worm fertilizer, right? And then I applied to it, and guess what? It was 2-3 weeks later, new leaves started coming out, and that was such a happy moment for me. So then the next thing I did was I took out the this pot, and then I dug a hole in my backyard garden, and I planted it into the garden. So to be fair, I didn't have time to really look after it and ask my helper to just remember to water it, right? And guess what? 2 years later, the plant, guess how does it look now?
Become a tree.
Yeah. So from this size, right, 2 years later, let me show you. Actually, I have a picture of it. Too bad those who are listening in couldn't see it. But yeah, so this is actually how it looks like.
It's tall.
Wow. Yeah, it is a 3-story height right now from a little plant like this. So the name of this plant is interesting. When it's a plant, it's called China doll. But when it grew up to be a tree, it also have another name called serpent tree, or it's also called emerald tree. It can grow up to a whooping height of 30 meters, which is more than 10-story high. So you may be wondering, right, what is this tree and planting got to do with my passion? What keeps my passion burning in teaching is not trees, but actually is students. Students are the one who really keep me going, especially when I have faced challenges. Just like a plant, right? I mean, our students come in various shapes and sizes, various walks of life. Naturally, we tend to gravitate and like students who are like kwai kai, right? They will listen to you, do homework. You tell them to tuck in your shirt, they tuck in, and so on. But of course, we also have other students who are very challenging. I'm sure we all have our experience in working with them. The question then comes, right? What do we do when we have students who are more challenging, right? Do we discard them like plants that doesn't grow too well, or do we look after them, or we even spend more tender, loving care, right? Taking care of them. So I think the answer is obvious. We as educators, we take every children and students to our heart, and we want the best from them. I also want to say that the journey is tough. It's never so straightforward, like, you put in the effort, take care of it, and it will grow. It really takes a village to raise the child. So like the plant that I was taking care of, I couldn't do it on my own. I had to seek help from my friend who has a green finger, like a specialist in the teaching profession. I also get other people to come in to support in the growth of the plant. But what I'm really wanted to share with you and also the listener out there is that sometimes it is the limiting factors that we put on our students that really have a big impact on them. So for example, what I did was just take out the pot and put it in the ground. What happened then was the roots then could grow into the natural ground, and therefore the plant grows naturally. And technically it can grow up to like 10, 30 meters, right? So I sometimes also ask myself, when some students, because of certain backgrounds, certain habits, certain behavioral traits that they demonstrate when they're in school, do we therefore also have a limit on them, right? When they say they have big ambition, we say, okay, are you sure you want to do that? Or do we really guide our students, show them their strength in order for them to grow? Yeah. So that is my object lesson today of plants, my two love for plants and the love for the children, and how really students are my main motivation, right, in keeping the teaching passion alive. Yeah. What about you, Francis?
For me, okay, we will talk about my first year as a teacher. So I was in charge of this CCA water polo. So students don't come for training, attendance was poor, parents complain about too many trainings. So it's always about calling parents for not coming. Then when I call parents will say, oh, there's just too many training. That's why they have no time for studies and whatever. Yeah, then 6 months later, my HOD had a work review with me and asked me, what can you do to change all this? And that was when I went into depression. I was very sad. Like, why am I here? I'm just managing parents and students who never come for training. Then I start thinking about why I became a teacher in the first place. Because I learned slow, I need help, and nobody helped me. So now I want to be a teacher, I want to help people. So I remember one time I just gathered everybody and told everybody, you must come for this briefing, else you'll be out of the CCA. And I spent 2 hours talking to the students and give them a pep talk and then explain to them why I became a teacher and why they should come for training. Because I was like you, I want to be good in something, but nobody helped me. Everybody just judged me. People think that I'm not good enough. So if you want, you come more often, I'll be here every single day to help you. Wow, that was the first time I saw the students open their eyes very big and stare at me. That was the first time I started to realize, so they are not that lazy or what people say. After all, they want to be someone, but they don't believe in themselves. So suddenly some teacher came in and say, I believe in you. So they start to believe in me also. And then true enough, the following week, attendance improved. I took the opportunity and increased the number of trainings. I get the help from parents. I talked to all the parents and I talked to the principal about the plans. And it was amazing. It was amazing because after 3 years later, they went into the final of National School Games. And then 5 years later, they got champion.
Congrats.
And it proved that no matter how lazy they look like, no matter what kind of student they look, there's always a way to support them. There's always a way to motivate the students. Yeah, so that's why over these years, the more I learn to become a better teacher, the more I realize there's so much things to learn about. There's so much to understand the students. There's so much to help me become a better teacher. So that motivates me a lot.
Thank you. Similar stories, but I think going back to when I was in primary school, I look at how much support I received as a student, right? From my teachers. I was the shortest in my cohort, you know, but yet I was given all these opportunities, you know, to become vice captain, to go for a lot of school competitions. Hey, why me? I mean, of course, by merit, you know, but I think for most of our students, being young, being developing, right, they lack that ability to be confident, you know, to manage their own self defeating stances lah. Yeah. So I think it just requires a teacher, okay, like yourself, you know, like you as well, Eric, to be there to tell, hey, you can do it, you know. Right? It's not because you are short, because you know you are from a certain stream, you know, but because you have other things which is maybe you don't recognize, okay, but we as a teacher recognize. So I think I want to be that teacher. I want to be that person who is there for them lah. And like you guys know, students, they are the ones who, you know, after 25 years, right? They are the ones who make us come to school every day lah.
Yes.
You know, all right. You can have the worst day the day before or the night before, you didn't sleep well, right? In the morning, right, when they come to the gates and say, "Good morning, Mr. Nas," wow, okay, everything else is gone, you know, and you always remind yourself, okay, why are you here? These are the reasons why I'm here, you know, and that keeps me going, you know, and being in different schools, right, in schools which are high profile, you know, some other schools which are so-called neighborhood schools and all that. I don't see any difference, you know. I still see students from whatever profile, no matter what their postal code is of the school, they still need a teacher who believes in them. You know, it's not just about this is the profile, need more motivation. This one no need. I beg to differ because I feel that every student has their own fears, you know, has their own misgivings. You know? So all they need is that one teacher, if possible, all teachers to tell them, hey, I believe in you. And I'm going to be with you all the way. Yeah, so I think that keeps me going this many years lah.
Now, Nas, I must say you are a good testimony of good things come in small packages.
Pun intended, right?
Yes, pun intended. Yeah, so well done. Happy for you. Actually, I do agree that sometimes when we are working with our students, we also need to be very patient.
That's right.
Because they take time to change behavior. They don't change because we tell them to or we scold them. Sometimes they do, like, oh, I tuck in my shirt because I give you face. I say, wow, thank you very much. But you have demonstrated the value of respect. You know, I think it's about us trying to inculcate this value in them, helping them to see beyond just what they perceive, right? And of course, affirming them. I talking about perseverance and resilience, right? I mean, since I started with plants and trees, I'm going to share another plant story, right? So it's about this. There was a time, I think a couple of years back, when there was very strong wind in Singapore, and you read in papers, every other day, trees are falling. It was quite dangerous. So likewise, one of the tree, not this, the mother of this tree, but another tree behind my backyard, the wind was so strong that they actually broke the trunk, right? So the tree at the trunk snapped. So the management came and they just saw off, leaving a stub onto the floor, just maybe this height. And I was wondering, why didn't they remove it, right? Because it's very unsightly. But the manager said, to remove this actually costs a lot. They have to drill down and so on. So they just leave it, like say, let it decay naturally. But guess what? A stump with no leaf, no nothing, suddenly I noticed something starts sprouting up, right? And from that little sprout, a few branches came out, leaves, and again, fast forward, I think probably 3-4 years later, now it is 2-story high. Amazing. I mean, plants are so resilient that we have to learn from them, right? And now, I'm also looking at, sometimes when we look at our students, we have to also share with them some of this life lesson, right? In order to help them.
To piggyback on your idea about resilience, and it's a process, right?
Yes.
You have to be patient as well. So I think I truly believe our students are very resilient. Sometimes I think more resilient than adults are, you know. Because really, when you understand or you hear or you know about their backgrounds, especially those who are more challenging, you wonder, you know, how can they, you know, despite all these difficulties at home, you know, all the all those, that check boxes that say, hey, you have no right to succeed in school.
Yep.
You have no right to, so you're supposed to fail, But yet they come to school smiling and with that energy to still learn, Yes, they may not be the best student academically,
Yeah.
But to just see them turning up in school every day,
Yes.
I think to me they are heroes lah.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel, even though our teachers, right, we are supposed to teach them, but I think many times they are the ones who teach us.
Yes.
Yeah, with all their background and all that. Yeah. So I feel it's a two-way thing, Yeah. We give them what we can, but at the same time we open our eyes and heart to also take from them as well. Yeah.
To piggyback on the story of resilience, so I remember my first 3 years of teaching, I forgot which year already. There was this class I couldn't manage. It was very bad. And I was complaining to my mentor, and my mentor was a senior teacher in the school. So I just cannot. Whatever I say, they just refuse to listen. And my mentor said, yeah, sometimes you just have to keep saying. Then she told me about her experience when she just keep nagging at the student, nagging. After 4 years, 5 years later, the students came back and told her that thanks to your nagging, I became like this. I never forget that story. That keeps me going.
Yeah.
So and then it's really true. It's really true. Sometimes you just say what you believe in. Sometimes, for example, you tell the student, be confident in yourself, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. You just keep saying that. And sometimes it will take like many years later for the student to come back and tell you that, oh, thanks to your advice.
Yep.
And I have these students, if you look at him, it seems like he's just cannot learn anything. Everything is just slower than everybody else. And thanks to my mentor, so I just keep nagging and say, believe in yourself, just believe that you can do it. And true enough that after he graduated from secondary school, he started learning drumming, and then he wanted to become a good drummer. He remembered the belief in himself. Then he go and, I don't know what happened to him, he joined a band, and then the band go and join this national competition, band competition, and they got champion.
Wow.
And then he actually told the mother that thanks to me, and the mother messaged me and said, oh, I didn't expect that. So sometimes all these things, you will never know what will happen. You just have to believe that you can. And that really makes the joy of teaching.
Yeah. I think I second that. I also have a similar story, but it's a classic story in one of the school that I was posted to. I remember day one when I went to the school as a school leader, the discipline master came to me. He said that you got to watch out for this gentleman. Let's call him student R.
Okay.
And student R was really notorious, right? He was secondary 3 then. It was every day he would get into some trouble, and every day I would attend to him, right? So I got so involved until my colleagues in that school call me your godson.
Godson.
Your godson is coming to look for you again. Okay. So he got involved with so many, from theft to tourism to of course skipping class, getting involved in fights, anger management, so on and so forth. The pressure was big, especially for us as school leaders and teachers, because we also need to balance managing a good learning environment in school, and also caring for this student who really, really needed help. So we gave him many chances, met parents. Parents were supportive, but yet he was very, very challenged. But the last straw was, I always remembered, I was attending a cluster board meeting, and then my discipline master called me and said that you got to come back quickly because student R is bringing his group of friends to school to look for one of the boys because they got into some thief. And what happened was I said, okay, keep the boy in my office, don't let him out. I'll come back right now. So at the gate, he was huffing and puffing, refusing to go, and his behavior was totally unacceptable. So I told him, you got to go unless otherwise I have to call the police. So true enough, he didn't want to. I make a call, and then it was only when I make that call, he decided to go. So what happened next was, because he was so close to exam, we had to suspend him because of maintaining the safety of the students in school. And of course, we are giving too many chances actually. We wish him well. He came back to his exam, escorted to the exam hall, and then, it was so dramatic. So when he graduated, we were all happy for him, right? And we were relieved, right? That's to be honest. So 3 years later, he actually came back to the school and specifically looked for the DM and myself, and we went for lunch. And I was almost fell off my chair. He went to Shartek, finished his course, and then he was already out working, and he got a job in Ritz-Carlton in one of the restaurants there. He really turned around, and we were so proud of him. I took some photos, which I'll share with you. So this is him, right, in Ritz-Carlton. Still naughty. If I can, I will show the screen, and you can slide it in. But what is amazing was I told him, look, student R, can you come back during the Teachers' Day and say your thank you. He said he would love to, but he couldn't. But he said, I can text you. Can you please read it to the teachers? So I said, okay. And this is what he texted, right? Dear teachers, thank you for all you have done throughout my 4 years in the school. I'm grateful that I always have people to fall back whenever I have any troubles. He named the teachers, which I will not explain here. All of you have played a big role in making me who I am now. Right? I'm currently holding a diploma and doing extremely well as a chef in a restaurant in Ritz-Carlton. And I hope to open an Italian restaurant in the near future. To end off, I would like to encourage all of you to keep working hard, because even though it may seem like you are not making an impact on your students now, in the long run, they will grow and they will know that, pardon me, this is his English, that you are doing well because of you. So no matter how big or small thing that you do, you will leave an impact on them. Wow. So, this is student R, and really stories like this warm our hearts. I only wish that we share more of these stories so he actually came back and then shared his story with students. And I always feel that as a fraternity, we must constantly encourage each other through all these stories.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, very emotional story, but inspiring as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we have shared, what kept us, to where we are today.
Yes.
But what is it that will keep us going, in the many more years to come? We are still very young, right? So very far away from retirement. Okay, but now we are in HQ, but looking forward when we are back in school, what is it that will still keep you going for maybe a decade or beyond that?
For me, is the belief that I can impact more students. So I try to get feedback and try to understand myself that I understand that I think teachers, we should not set our expectation too high of ourselves. Like for example, if let's say school want to use ICT, I need to understand myself first. Can I use ICT? What is my comfort level in using ICT in the classroom, in a PE lesson? Then I do it slowly, enjoy the process, enjoy seeing students improve because of ICT, not because the school wants us to use ICT, for example. So must always have that enjoyment part, the process of trying something and see students grow because of it. And it is that students' feedback, the way when we see them learning something, when we see them smile and we see them improving as a person, that keeps us going. So that is the goal that I always achieve. So every time I enter the class or a CCA or whatever, the goal must be there that I want to see them change or improve by a little bit. Yeah, so that is what keeps me going.
Well, for me, I guess it is really about how we can increase our sphere of influence. As a teacher, we directly impact students that we come across. So as a school leader and of course as KPs in the school, we are really in a privileged position as because our sphere of influence is bigger. We inspire teachers. We also share good practices and so motivate them to improve our work processes or how we can care for our students. More importantly, KP school leaders and teacher leaders, we are also looking at all the work processes, right? That we can, things like what we share today about how can we encourage the heart of teachers. As we enjoy the conversation today, at the back of my mind, I'll be thinking, how can we scale this up as a system at the school level or maybe beyond. So these are constantly our challenges that we face in the education system to keep the fire burning, right, in all the educators. And as PESTA, we shine the light.
Thank you. For me, I will perhaps say my piece using this pencil as a metaphor. Pencils, right? They are as useful as if they are sharp, and if they are too short or they are broken, they are not functional anymore. So I think I see myself with this pencil, every time I've overused it, because we have help teachers, we go to schools, all and broken by work. So the more we use it, the blunter it becomes, right? So for you to keep it sharp, you have to sharpen it. That process of sharpening a pencil is painful to the pencil. Right? It is because they have to go through that sharp, sharpener and all that, and then they become sharp again. So I think that sharpening process is that learning process. To me, I would like to inspire teachers still to sharpen all the time. It may be painful, yes, but once you are sharpened, right, of course you're going to be shorter and shorter, but it's okay because that in a way reflects our teaching lifespan, right? As we retire, But I think it's symbolic because learning is difficult. But if we collaborate, we have friends, the right nutrition, I think we can still be as useful as we exist, even if it's just a 1 cm kind of thing. But I think the as long as we can contribute, we contribute. So I hope to be able to continue to model, that sort of light or the inspiration to learn to the teachers as well, so that they can also contribute to the students' growth as well.
I agree.
So good conversations here. Any last rallying call or phrase to rally the teachers out there to keep their passion burning?
I think work as a team, work as collaborative. So I think I wouldn't still be a teacher if I don't have friends or colleagues who are supporting me. I will be melting down before this podcast if you all never talk to me before this podcast. Because it's the friends that makes us want to be somewhere. Even if we ask a student, why do you join this CCA? Why do you like this sport? I think the first answer they will say is because the friends is there. So the friends I think is very important. That the conversation, the chit-chatting, that makes our day, our work feels like it's just enjoyment. It's
not work,
it's not work at all. It's fun.
For me, I mean, I will just say that, just remember why you came to teaching, right? The teacher's heartbeat is important, keeping our passion alive. But very importantly is to really do the right thing, right? We may not see the result immediately. It will be a blessing if we can see it before the students graduate from our school. But sometimes, like students are, it will come later. But rest assured, I think we are certain that the students will learn and will appreciate in time to come, like what Francis have also shared. They will turn around and they will appreciate what we have done. So be patient.
For me, it will be two words, malu first, then malu together. Right? Malu first is the embodiment of trying out something, for the first time, making it better, And then after you have learned, you malu first, you learn about your mistakes, you get affirmation, right? Then you infect other people, then you malu together, So it becomes collaborative. So whatever that you want to do, just go on and do it. Learn if you have to, unlearn, relearn, and then you become better and better, But you can do it together, you can go further. All right. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you, gentlemen.
if you have any suggestions or feedback on our podcast series, do give us your feedback. And also do remember that we have our PESTA Facebook and Instagram as well. So do look out for it. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, man.